All right, so today your game is going to be to write down your own operating instructions, because we have them. Your operating instructions, and get sarcastic and get playful with it for sure. That are like if you were a machine. How do you operate? What is the owner's manual like? How do you take care of this machine? Make sure if you want it to be in a good mood to rub the feet every single night, or, make sure to soothe its crazy idiosyncratic behaviors, to lock the doors 3 times every evening, or, whatever. You're poking fun of yourself a little and noticing your idiosyncrasies, noticing the things that you like, the ways that you like to operate, but also sink in a little bit deeper with it too, not just those outside things like always serve a warm meal, or, these are the 4 meals to choose from if you're wanting a good mood. Anything else is not doable. If the meal has to be rushed, the creature will be grumpy, or the machine will be operating at half capacity. Absolutely, go there, but also sink in deeper and realize the operating instructions that you use for yourself every single day, those internal operating instructions. Because that starts to point out patterns and things that you get yourself stuck in. Like, if someone isn't warm with you, then sit and ponder all the ways that it might be your fault for 3 days, for a 3-day minimum. Or if you disappoint someone, or someone seems disappointed, feel guilty immediately and don't let it go for days. Or only think of negative reasons that person didn't respond to you the way that they wanted, or that you wanted them to. Don't think of any other reasons that might have to do with them, only reasons that had to do with you. And do that for at least 3 days. Drive yourself crazy with wondering what other people are thinking. Things that you do that you are noticing, man, that's kind of an operating instruction. I do run that program quite a bit. And it starts to give you a deeper look into yourself. And of course, make fun of it too. And look at and look at your mood patterns too. Maybe those are operating instructions too. We all have cycles that we go through in life where, it's like, oh, I tend to be in a good mood in the morning, or I tend to be, or let's say if it's an operating instruction, I would say it differently. It'd be like, okay, sit and dream up amazing things when you're in a good mood, and then celebrate your good mood by being extra lazy because you've already thought of these good things that you will do, and you won't start on any of them because you're celebrating your good mood. But then that will cycle directly into a bad mood, because then you will start to realize, like, oh, I never actually do any of these things, or who am I kidding? I'm not going to actually write that book, or whatever. And that will immediately end in a bad mood or low kind of mood result. If you notice that you have these patterns, these operating instructions that you kind of do to yourself and set yourself up with, this is what we're doing. And it's interesting it's nice and playful to sit and poke fun at yourself, and to kind of notice how you work, and to think of yourself like a machine, and to start putting out there the things that you want, like, always include a hot shower, or the machine will, be angry for at least 4 days. Yeah, absolutely. It does make you more self-aware even to notice those silly things. But the deeper stuff is where the real information is, because if you start to notice ways that you are, in a pattern, stuck in a rut, doing things that are cyclical, and there are operating instructions that you're giving yourself, and that you're running that program, you can unrun that program. You can change it. you can totally change it fairly easily by noticing it and then stop run, like stop running the program. You don't have to feel guilty about it for 5 days. You don't have to only dream of awesome stuff when you're in a good mood and then not do anything with it. You can change that and celebrate that awesome mood differently by taking an actual step. Or when you notice that you're getting back into that pattern of feeling bad about not doing all the things, you can see it for what it is and just be like, all right, I don't have to feel bad about it. Another great mood will come. I'm not always going to be one way or always going to be the other. I'm just going to, see this pattern or this program that I'm running, these operating instructions, and I'm going to shift them. I'm going to take some actual steps towards something that I like, or I'm going to give myself a break and realize that the ideas were actually great. And as long as they take slow progress on them, I don't have to insult myself about who I am or what I am just because I did or didn't do one of them all the way yet, stuff like that. So, anyways, yeah, you could also, that's another big operating instruction where you're labeling yourself in these permanent ways. So it'd be like, yeah, operating instruction is anytime anything happens or anytime you notice anything about yourself, label yourself that way permanently, make it seem like it's the end of the world and that there's no changing it, and get really upset about it to the point where you're not feeling empowered, or something to that degree. Or they could go in the positive direction too. Like, getting manic and really happy about things, and enjoying, some time out in the woods and just running around and being so giddy and so excited and just like bursting with excitement. My daughter has these operating instructions where she goes crazy in cold water, or just water. She gets so excited. She turns into a different human being, when she's around water, and it's really cool to watch. And so you might just know that's part of my operating instructions. Therefore, take to cold water frequently because it gives a real burst of energy. It's like a fuel up. So you're noticing positive things that you can run the program more frequently for instead of just interrupting the crappy programs. Also run the other ones more frequently. Once you know those instructions or that program or that pattern well, run it more. Or you could also interrupt it. If you decide that you get really giddy when you're going on walks, but then it sort of results in an explosion of energy and it's too much of a difference or a contrast to your regular life, then you might do a smaller burst, go for small walks, not huge weekend hikes that are for 4 days in a row that make me sort of so giddy and so wonderful. But then, I'm so depressed at the contrast of my daily life. Do small walks where I can still enjoy the nature and still get the giddiness, but in these small bursts instead of these extreme polarities of mania for 3 days and then a big crash when you get back home and you're not out in the woods camping, whatever. So these are just my examples. You come up with your own stuff. Your operating instructions may be totally different, but you're going to write up your operating instructions and do it at least once, actually on paper, to make it official and to see it in front of your face and to have it come out concretely in the form of words out of your hand. But then, do it more in the future. I mean, anytime you notice a pattern or something about yourself, or anytime you're bored or in the mood to make fun of yourself or noticing something about yourself, think about these operating instructions and, you can do those in your head, but at least one time, write them actually out. And you can share them with someone while I'm being bitten by a mosquito in front of my eye, landing on my face and biting me. Right. Anyway, see how you like it. Write your operating instructions.